Okay, so class, good afternoon. This is your professor, Attorney Alfredo L. Mayol III. And this afternoon, we are going to discuss the SWOT analysis. Okay? SWOT. So before we start our discussion, let us first begin with a prayer. Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Okay. So, class, our topic for today is all about SWOT analysis. Okay. So, SWOT analysis class is an approach in dealing with problems. Okay. So, our topic, SWOT analysis with regards to leadership and management. So let us begin. SWOT analysis, an introduction by Attorney Alfredo L. Mayol III. So this is an introduction class that would appraise you with the concepts regarding SWOT analysis for organizational success. Okay? So SWOT analysis is applied in different dilemmas and problems that is related to your company, your job, and so on and so forth. So what is the objective of this discussion or lecture? So first is to explain what is SWOT analysis, okay? SWOT class is an abbreviation. Next, explain the elements of SWOT analysis. Next objective is to make a list. Okay, list the objectives of the SWOT. Okay. Another is describe who needs SWOT analysis. Next, explain the internal and external factors. Okay. So in the application of this approach class, there are factors to consider, and we will discuss that along the way. Next is to describe the SWOT quadrants. Next objective is to list the benefits and pitfalls of SWOT analysis. Next is list the common mistakes in SWOT analysis. And then finally, list the tips for effective SWOT analysis. Okay. So before we begin, let me discuss to you a little background or history of SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis technique was founded by Albert Humphrey, who led a research project at Stanford University in the 1960s and the 70s. Okay. He used the data from Fortune 500 companies to identify why corporate planning failed. Okay, so from his experience with regards to his corporate background, okay, so Mr. Albert Humphrey founded this technique, the SWOT analysis. His research identified a number of key areas that were critical to corporate planning, and the tool used to explore each of the critical areas was called SWOT analysis. Okay, so these are abbreviations, class, that we will discuss later. So Mr. Albert Humphrey applied all his learnings, okay, all his experience in how to plan or how to analyze data inside the corporate world or inside the company. Albert Humphrey and the original research team used the following categories. First, what is good in the present is satisfactory. Okay? Good in the future is an opportunity, and bad in the present is a fault, and bad in the future is a threat. Okay? So, as you can see, class, that is the abbreviation of SWOT analysis. Okay? So satisfactory stands for S, O for opportunity, okay, F for the future or the fault, and then T is for the threat, okay. So by examining all these elements, class, okay, analyzing them using your critical thinking, you will arrive in a decision, okay, as part of your planning. So in 1964, at the conference, the F in SOF was changed to a W, okay? So when Dr. Humphrey, Albert Humphrey, founded the SOF analysis, okay? So within the course of his research and studies, he changed F, which is fault, to W, okay? And thus the emergence of SWOT analysis as we know it today came into existence, okay? So what is W in the SWOT analysis? So what is SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis is a technique founded by Albert Humphrey, who led a research project at Stanford University in 60s and 70s. So like what I said earlier, SWOT analysis is an abbreviation. So SWOT stands for S for strengths, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T for threats. So what is SWOT analysis? Okay. So SWOT analysis enables a group or individual to handle everyday problems and look at traditional strategies from a new perspective. Okay. So by examining all these factors, the strength, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats, okay, so it becomes part of corporate planning. Okay, so that you will arrive in a corporate decision. So why is this important, especially to you class, doctors, okay, physicians? Because in the future class, depends on the field you choose, okay, you become a part of the corporate world. Okay, for example, you work in a hospital. Either you are the employee or the employer, okay, or you will have your own clinic, okay. So still it involves this decision making. It is used as framework for organizing and using data and information gained from situation analysis of internal and external environment. So like what I said earlier, there are factors to consider, okay, external factors, internal factors, okay, as part of your analysis on how to solve a certain problem. SWOT analysis is a planning tool used to understand strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats involved in a project or business. Okay? So the purpose of SWOT analysis class is to aid you, help you to arrive in a sound decision. Okay? So it is a planning tool that will help you in your decision making. So let us discuss each and every element. First is the strengths. What are the strengths in a utilized in a SWOT analysis? So first, characteristic of the business or team that give it an advantage over others in the industry. Okay? So as a leader or as a owner maybe in the company, you examine the strengths of your company. For example, that gives you advantage over others. For example, your employees are very into IT, okay, very techy. So that's one of your advantages over other companies that still utilize traditional method, manual method, okay? Another is positive, tangible, and intangible attributes internal to an organization. Okay, for example, your employees are still very young compared to other companies where their employees are very old. Okay, so if you are young, of course, these young employees are very active, snappy, creative. Okay, I'm not saying that the older employees in the other companies are not active or creative. Okay, it's just that youth has certain advantage over aged individuals. Next, beneficial aspect of the organization or the capabilities of an organization, which includes human competencies, process capabilities, financial resources, products and services, customer, goodwill, and brand loyalty. Okay, so these are examples of your strength in the company. Okay, is your company financially stable compared to other companies? Okay, is your human resources competent? Okay, is your product or brand famous? Okay, so those are the parts of your strength as a company. Okay, as a working group. Okay, so some examples of organizational strengths are as follows: abundant financial resources compared to other companies. Your finances are stable. Next, establish brand name. So your products are is famous already. Next, economies of scale. So your industry is well known and famous. Next, lower production cost of your product. So it is a strength because if the production cost is lower, of course, you can produce more products. And then superior management. So your human resources is very efficient, very competent. Another strength is excellent marketing skills. Of course, if you have a product and your marketing skill is below average, of course, you will lose money. Next, good supply chain distribution. So you have partners which can give you raw materials directly. And then great employee commitment. Okay, so you can rely on your employees. So these examples class are part of the strength within a company. Okay, that can be utilized in the SWOT analysis. Next is weaknesses. So what are the weaknesses? These are characteristics that place the organization at a disadvantage relative to others. So when you say weaknesses class, these are the negative aspect in the company that puts the company in a disadvantage position, and then detract the organization from its ability to attain the core goal and influence in its growth. Okay, so for example, the leaders, okay, or the owners or the decision makers of that company has no direction, has no sense of direction. So that's an example of being weak, okay, in the SWOT analysis. Another are factors which do not meet the standards set in the organization, okay? So these are considered to be weaknesses. And then some examples of organizational weaknesses are as follows. So these are examples class. Limited financial resources. Of course, if your finances is limited, you cannot expand, you cannot give incentive to your employees, you cannot produce more products. So these are example of the weaknesses in the SWOT analysis. Low return, okay? The budget, there's no budget inside the company. Narrow product line, weak supply chain distribution. So when you say weak supply chain, there is no raw materials for your product. So of course, if the raw materials is produced elsewhere, then you will have problems in your logistics. So the finances again will be burdened. Next, higher production costs. Of course, if your product is very expensive to produce, so the income would be minimal because the money intended for other expansion will be used in the production of that product. Okay. Next, obsolete or out of date products or technology, poor market image, poor marketing skills, weak management skills, and undertrained employees. Okay. So human resources is not utilized, and your employees are incompetent. So those are the factors that are considered in the weaknesses in the SWOT analysis. Okay. Next factor is opportunity. Okay. The O in the SWOT analysis. So opportunities are chances to make greater profits in the environment. So these are the opportunities class whereby your company can improve or make profit. So you must always do your research, or you must always connect or expand in order to see opportunities. Okay. External attractive factors that represent the reason for an organization to exist and develop. Next, condition of environment that benefits the organization in planning and executing strategies that enable it to become more profitable. Okay, so as an organization, you must always look for conditions or external factors that will improve your company. Okay, so these are the opportunities. Organizations should be careful and recognize the opportunities and grasp them whenever they arise. So if you are the leader, if you are the owner of the company, you must always move and connect so that opportunities will be plenty. Opportunities may arise from market, competition, industries, government, and technology. So some examples of opportunity for an organization are as follows. So for example, in the market, there is rapid market growth, especially when you monopolize the market. Okay, so always check. Next is complacent rival firms. Okay, so if your rivals, they become complacent, they do not improve anymore or expand anymore. So it is an opportunity for your company. Next, changing customer needs or taste. Okay, so it is an opportunity. So if you're, for example, if your product is food and beverage, you should always check the customer. And then new uses discovered for existing product, economic boom, government deregulation. Okay, so when you say deregulation, the law is not stringent. For example, your product is oil. Okay, so since there is oil deregulation law, so there's no ceiling anymore for the price. So it is an opportunity because you can set the price according to the need, okay, of the public. Next is decline in demand for substitute product. So next factor in the SWOT analysis is the threat. So what is this threat? External elements in the environment that could cause trouble for the business. Okay, so these are elements that could affect your business negatively, class. So external factors beyond an organization's control, which could place the organization's mission or operation at risk. Okay, so any factors that would place your company at risk is a threat to your company. Next, conditions in external environment that jeopardize the reliability and profitability of the organization's business. Okay, so any conditions, risk, or external factor that would negatively affect your company is considered a threat. So threats compound the vulnerability when they relate to the weaknesses. Threats are uncontrollable. When a threat comes, the stability and survival can be at stake. Okay? So always be careful, class, because your weaknesses can be compounded by threats. Okay? And at the same time, threats compounds your weaknesses. So if you are weak and there are threats, and then your company can go bankrupt, okay, at any time, especially when you don't have any strength in your company. Okay, so that is why you need to utilize this approach, the SWOT analysis, in order to save you or your company from danger like closure or bankruptcy. So some examples of threat in an organization: entry of foreign competitors. Okay, so for example, in the Philippines, there is a law right now that gives ownership to foreigners, 100% ownership to foreigners. So that's a threat. Okay, because Filipinos cannot compete to foreign entities because of finances, of course. Filipinos compared to the billionaires abroad are not that many. Okay? Next, introduction of new substitute products, decline in product life cycle, changing customer needs or taste, new strategies adopted by rival firms, increased government regulation, economic slowdown or inflation. Okay, so these are some examples of the threats that could affect your company negatively. Okay, so all of this must be taken into consideration all of this should be part of planning so that your company will arrive in a sound decision, okay, on how to face or how to approach a certain situation. So the main objective of SWOT analysis is analyzing the following. So in strength class, based on the analysis of strategies, restriction, control, and performance. Because strength class connotes that this is part of the company or you have control with regards of these factors, then you can change this. For example, your employees are incompetent. So you change your employees to more competent employees. So you can fire them and then rehire and then hire another employees that can perform better. Next is weakness. So based on the analysis, strategies, restriction, and control. Okay. Next is opportunities. So take into consideration the general environment, the industry environment, and the main competitors. And then lastly, threats take into consideration again general environment, industry, and main competitors. So these elements class should be taken into consideration. Okay, these elements should be analyzed so that it will help you face the problems of your company. Okay, so basically class, this is an introduction of SWOT analysis and other topics will be discussed later on. So far class, do you have any questions with regards to SWOT analysis? So our discussion for today is just a preview of SWOT analysis, and we will discuss the pitfalls, the benefits, the other concepts with regards to SWOT analysis next week. Okay. So class, do you have any questions or clarifications with regards to the introduction of SWOT analysis? By the way, class, SWOT analysis is very important also in your practice because when you become doctors, of course, you become a leader. Example, in a healthcare team, you are the head. Okay? So under you are the nurses, okay, your junior doctors, and other allied healthcare workers. Okay? Or if you own a hospital, of course, there are problems that you will meet. So it is important that you learn all these planning tools, okay, that we have discussed. So SWOT analysis is a planning tool class that will help you with regards to problem in your company. So do you have questions class so far? Is handa?
No, sir.
Okay. So if there is none, I will end the recordings.